Hello everybody, this is your girl Giselle Ureña, and you're now rocking with Revolutionary G-Talks.
Today, I have my fellow friend, Leila Cardoso. She's here. I'm so excited to have you. Thank you so much for coming.
Yes.
And why don't you give a little introduction about yourself?
My name is Leila Cardoso. I met Giselle through it was a wellness event that was going on. I'm a social worker, former social worker. I am also a personal trainer. During the day, I'm doing my work as a social worker. I'm also a mom of 3 children.
Wow. Anyway.
That's a full-time job.
Never stopping. Well, that's awesome. And why don't you tell us what you will be talking about and you know, what inspired you to become a personal trainer besides being a social worker?
Yeah. So, as a social worker, we work with a lot of individuals in the community with different traumas and people trying to overcome certain obstacles. So, for me, the reason why I wanted to become a personal trainer, because I started with myself, self-development. So I realized that it takes more than just doing therapy, sitting in one-to-one, having conversation about the problem, but, also doing the action to actually help yourself change. In the process of that, I found that working out not only help you to change your mind, you changing your body, your attitude changes, and by the time you notice, when you have that self-esteem, you have that self-confidence, you become a new person. So the transformation that I saw with myself, the feeling that I felt, I wanted to give it to other people. Overcoming the obstacles that I was trying to overcome, becoming that confident woman that I wanted to become, and feeling in peace with myself and in actually accepting who I am. So, what I received from training, the knowledge that I gained from trying to not only training, but, read and listen to motivational speakers while I'm training and becoming, it's like that warrior inside to come out and actually, feel good about yourself. So once that transformation took place, I said, wow, I want to become a personal trainer. I want to teach people how to do this, how to do this therapy.
That leads me to the next question.
Yeah.
What makes you think it's a great leader, and how do you share that power?
I think to be a great leader, especially as a woman, I know that, as a woman in a society, people tend to see you as someone who just want to provide that service to women. But I like to provide that service to men, to women, to children. I feel like when united, we can conquer better things.
Absolutely.
Because we only learn with one another. So just having one group, just women, I feel like there's going to be something missing that needs to be there.
Wow, that's so true. So what do you have to say to those men out there that just like to train with male personal trainers? What message do you have for those people that only gravitates towards the sex that they identify with, or so forth? Yeah.
So as normally I think it's something that, like I said, society has built that way, is that mentality. Us women, we can provide the same service or sometimes better than what you receive with another male. So, we see a lot in the market, females train with males, right? We see them having the variety of people, but then when it's a female trainer, you have just women. But we have the same capacity to provide that training. Because it's physical, that doesn't mean we cannot do it. Because it's more than just lifting a heavy weight. It's not about just picking up a big weight. You feel like, oh, I'm a man. It's about learning movements. It's about learning to be safe with your body. It's about accepting yourself. It's about learning the skills.
Exactly.
We have the skills.
Exactly.
So why not be able to train a male? I think maybe in the mind I see it's more like, okay, it's weights.
Yeah.
So only men can do that. But that's not true.
Actually, to just speak about my experience, I've been training since 2015, and I've had the privilege to train all sex, genders, and ages as well. But what I did realize is that, I'm not trying to point fingers at the men right now. We're actually just trying to bring up a point that we believe is very necessary in order to break that stigma and that segregation, right?
Yeah.
And I remember that a lot of guys that were training with me kind of stopped, and one of them commented, I don't want to disrespect you, Giselle. I know he's probably watching this video. I don't want to disrespect you, Giselle, but I just, my friends kind of think that I'm training with you for another reason, not because I really am developing with your service. And he stopped training with me because, the comments that were being made to him because he was getting trained by a female. So it's more than that. It's more than just the sex difference. It's the knowledge, my experience, how I can benefit you, and all of that.
It reminded me of something, I just saw not too long ago on the social media. A male said, if you're a friend with a female, it's because they gotta be other intentions there, sexual, right? But I think it kind of applies to a lot of areas, right? That when we're working, is like people see it like, okay, if you're working with that woman, they gotta be other intentions. She's a beautiful woman, but it's more than that. We need to take that out of our mind. That when men come around a female, they gotta be other intentions. If we can take that mentality away and work together, we're gonna see changes.
Exactly.
We can fight, women fight, men fight, but until we all come together, we're gonna still have a hole there, something missing.
Exactly.
I was someone who felt that I need to hold my ground, like the power, that I cannot give no man that power. No man can lead me. But as a true leader, you have to learn how to lead and you have to learn how to follow. So you cannot think that, for example, he's a male and then keep that guard up the whole time. I'm a feminist, I'm just not going to hear what he has to say, because then you miss things. You can learn a lot from that. So it's like you're kind of removing yourself from being stuck. It's like you got to remove that wall. So for me, it starts at home with your husband, right? So it's like the relationship. If I led that relationship the same way I led other relationships, feeling like that I have to have that guard up, that power, I feel like we wouldn't have that communication that we have now, that bond, knowing that I have my place. He knows my qualities and I know his qualities, so that I can feel like I can trust him to lead my family. But he also know where I stand. He will respect my opinion. He will respect. We come together in the ground. It's like we make the decisions together, and then we move forward.
Exactly. So my next question to you would be, what would be your biggest advice to somebody who wants to break that stigma as well? Let's say a man who wants to get trained by a woman, but then they just feel kind of stuck. They don't know how to go about that. What would you say to them as a personal trainer?
First, as a person, I just say, if you feel like something is going to be right for you, just do it. You cannot follow what everybody else is following. If you feel like, I can benefit from receiving the service from this woman, why staying in the back worrying about what the other person is saying about you? Because,
preach, girl.
At the end of the day, you know who you are. So, as I was saying to my friend before we came here today, is someone can tell me who they think I am. To their eyes, that's who I am. But I can't tell you who I am. I'm the only person that can tell you truly who I am.
Exactly.
So the description that you give me of who I am is your perception of who you think I am.
Right.
So, just go get the help that you need. You will be surprised how much a woman can help you. You'll be surprised how much another man can help you. It's about the skills. It's about what the person can provide to you. It's about, your wellness, your health. So, you were talking about the wellness aspect. It's more than just the body, the emotional, is more than the spiritual, is more than, there's a 7 dimension of wellness, okay? But a lot of times you find people doing all the financial, everything as well, right? But then there's something missing. They're not working out, so now they're walking around like, oh, I don't feel good about myself. I'm a fat person. I'm ugly, because they missing something, right? So that's where you get when you're training. I feel that's what I got when I'm training, that confidence. Like you walk, feeling like you put that clothes, you're feeling good, and then that changes your attitude, how you handle things, how you talk to other people. You walk, you have more energy. You moving well. You're not walking
like all slouched.
Yeah, you feel like you get the composition of your body.
Like you belong. You belong in this world.
So when you walk in the room, you don't have to look around who look better than you. You already know you look good.
Exactly.
And you
accepting your own beauty, being confident with your skin, with yourself. That's definitely very important, because everybody's valuable. One of my episodes, my early episodes, I talked about the importance of feeling like you matter. You know, you are important. And I don't get tired of saying that. Because people need to understand that you're here for a reason.
Yeah.
And nobody can be you.
It takes me, you know, when I first started this, you know, in my mind, it was like, take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. It sounds selfish, you know, but it's more than that. Because when you take care of yourself, you learn to take care of others. If you don't take care of yourself, you don't know how to take care of yourself, how can you know how it feels to take care of something that you love? So if you don't have that self-love, how can you love? What do you know about love? You know, so that going to the gym, that, you know, reading a book, you know, that let me go support other women, let me go join a group and help people. What it does is it's that self-care. You teaching yourself, you learning, you developing, so you can flourish that gift. Because I feel like I know we all are special. We all have that ability to succeed. But sometimes some of us are stuck. We are stuck on the old ways. We are stuck into the trauma. We are stuck into the problems, the things that happen to us. So we're not moving forward. But I believe that people can change. I know a lot of people don't believe that people can change, but people can change. I believe that everybody has the ability to change, but you have to want it. And you have to go after it. Don't be ashamed to go after whoever can help you. Because sometimes there's shame, you know, into like, if I go to this woman, like maybe she, you know, it look like I'm weak, or, you know, she's a woman, she won't understand. No, it's not that. You have to go and seek for the help.
And I see that if you have watched the past 2 episodes, we keep repeating, people that are like-minded, they keep repeating the value of seeking help, the value of teamworking, right? That it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to ask for guidance. Yeah. So that's a key point, you know? So that's great. Thank you. Thank you.
You know, that's the ability of humans. Sometimes we say, I can't do all things by myself. But you really, if you think about it, you really can't do everything by yourself. You need other people. We need each other. It's human thing. If, you know, whenever you find like a group of people and they are divided, everybody's fighting for their own, it's unstable. Because you might find one here successful in one part, the other one's successful, but then it's like there's no unity. So then it's like how it's gonna flourish and grow, right? Whenever you see growth and you see changes, because people came together. Exactly. If you stuck within yourself, for example, you know, this was brought out of me today. Sometimes like the things you do, the changes you make, you know, when you have like the achievements with other people, you know, you're doing it because you feel good, you see the change, but you don't realize how you're helping the individual. I was, you know, like I said, my friend was picking my brain and it came to my mind about, you know, how am I helping and integrating what I'm saying I want to integrate into the fitness to my clients. And in my mind, as I'm sitting there like, no, I'm not doing it. But then when, you know, the more question I was asked, like, yeah, I do that. So I have example, you know, of a female, very successful woman, you know, in a high position. I don't have to disclose, you know, what kind of work she does. So, you know, because she's my client, of course, she will know who she is. But when she first came to me, she was in tears. But she saw a video of me speaking on social media about the importance of wellness and why is it important to be well. And she felt like she needed to come see me. Because like I said, she's doing well in the other areas in her life, but she felt like she was still broken. She started training with me, you know, while we training, I'm always working on affirmation, building the person, breaking the cycle of a negative self-talk, you know, I can't do this, you know, because you can. Sometimes it's just in your mind, it's like, well, I can't do it. So, you know, I was, the importance of self-care. So just by starting her day first with herself, working out early in the morning, right, before she go place herself out there for others, she said it changed her attitude at work, how she handled things. The things at work didn't change. She changed.
Exactly.
Because the things at work is still like chaotic. So now it's like, okay, how do I respond to this? Not only that, for example, she had knee problems, pre-diabetics. The doctor pretty much made her feel bad about herself. But when I see this lady walking in the gym now, every time I see her, I tell her how good she looks. But not because I'm trying to make her, you know, feel good. She looks good. She's shining. And
you can see
I can
transition.
see it. And then the other transformation that happened, discipline. She get up every morning. She show up on time. Now she show up actually do it 5 minutes earlier because she want to do her stretch. She want to make sure all her muscles and everything. It's not about it's not about losing weight, because I think sometimes people think about, oh, it's about losing weight. It's not really more about losing weight. She has more energy and she respect that. She respect the work that we do. She's her attitude change. She knows her value. She knows what she values. She values herself. She stands strong in her spirituality. When I talk about spirituality, sometimes people get nervous. They think you talk about religion, but you have to have time, that alone time. You have to reflect on what's your values, what's your belief, who you are, who are you. Because when you don't know those things, like you can't achieve all the other dimension of runners, then you still feel like, man, something's missing, like, and you still talk down on yourself. You feel like you haven't accomplished anything because you don't give that time for yourself, for you to reflect the things that you have accomplished, the things that the word is, you have arrived. It just came to my mind. You have to realize, I have arrived to where I said I was going to be. So now, like, let me set new goals to move forward.
Exactly. No,
yeah,
you got me speechless because it's that's crazy. I feel that was my transformation. I was depressed. I was stuck in a room where people can say, "Oh my God, you're so young. Like, what is wrong with you?" And it's like, you have everything. You have food. You have a roof over your head. But it's more than that. I was so insecure about me, and it was not my body, it was not my physical image, but I was so insecure about what I can give, about who Giselle was, you know. And that's the power of exercising. I don't even want to say fitness, because people think of fitness as me having the squat booty and the six-pack and the muscles popping. No, the power of exercising. I'm not only exercising my physical body, I'm exercising my mind. And that was great.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because, you know, that's my biggest concerns, like, lately, you know, is the increase of depression, youth, older, because a lot of times people don't pay attention, but it starts with the older folks. There's a lot, and it's growing. Older people becoming depressed, because, you know, a lot of times people depress the older folks because they haven't, they feel like they haven't achieved the goals they set for themselves, right? It's like they feel like they failed themselves. Or they might have children that they had set goals for them, and then they see their children failing. So now they feel like a failure, right? So then they fall into that depression, you know. Or you have people that came from a home where people always spoke down on them. Like, you know, always told them they're never going to be anything, or they're never going to do anything. Or you come from a background where your skin color and who you are, you know, make you feel like you cannot achieve anything, and that affects you. I overcame it. I had symptoms of depressions. One thing about myself that I'm very thankful of, I was always a warrior since I was a little kid. I grew up, you know, away from my mom and my dad. I grew up with, you know, my grandfather for a minute, just moving place to place. So I think that kind of built some resilience in me. I was able to fight those symptoms, but not everybody's the same. And I respect that. And I want people to understand that everybody come from a different background, and sometimes you feel like somebody's privileged, they have everything, they shouldn't be depressed. But let me tell you, it's a feeling that sometimes it's hard for the person to explain to you. So, and that's why I'm here, like, to tell you that, and I believe it, and I know it's the facts. Studies have shown. You know, when you go to any therapist, you ask them, they'll tell you start exercise. You go to the doctor now, instead, some of them, they give medication, but they tell you exercise. So the exercise is for your health. The exercise will be able to stabilize your mind. Because when you training, my thing is saying, work on the breathing. As a therapist, when I'm trying to train you how to control your anger and control yourself, I work with you on breathing techniques. So think about it. You're exercising, you're doing the breathing, you're clearing your mind. A lot of people have trouble clearing their mind. It's like being in the moment. Just let things go. So then it's like no worries, right? So you have moment that you're doing that. Then you have to have that moment when I'm talking about the alone time. You have to have the alone time where, you know, maybe listen to some nice music, maybe walking in the park, you know, looking at flowers, and do that with your children too. You know, I do that with my children because I want to make sure that I teach them those values, because it comes from culture. You know, it comes from what we know, it comes from what we thought. So like, sometimes it's hard to undo something that's already been done, but we can start. Like, let's say you feel you don't believe that somebody can change, you can start with your children. You know, teach them the values of wellness, teach them to exercise, teach them to have that walk by the park with the environment, staying away from social media all the time and have the phone on their hand, you know, have that picnic with them, eat, talk, have that family time, you know, because it's important for us to have that, because it builds that confidence in them. And those things that we miss, like sometimes it's not blaming the parents, because we all struggle in different ways.
Exactly.
But it's important when you teach them those values, because whenever they, like, you know, they're a certain age, they find themselves stuck, I feel like there's going to be a base to go to.
Yeah.
If you don't have the base, then you feel like there's nowhere to fall. So then there's that suicide, there's all the other problems that arise, you know. Sometimes, okay, we cannot change how you feel at the moment, but we can give you the tools, we can give you the base. So then when you know, okay, I'm here, I know that problems occur, because there's going to be problems in life. You're not going to find yourself nowhere with no problems.
Exactly.
You know, I have problems, but, you know, I know, okay, I'm feeling this way. For example, when it get to winter, I start to feel like I'm motivated a little bit, you know, my spirit goes down, my motivation goes down. Then I know to seek the people that I can seek to. And then I could share a little bit of, you know, those feelings. Or, you know, I go back to pictures and things, and then I remind myself, remember what you said you was going to do. Keep going to the gym. Don't let that body sink into the couch, sitting in bed, because that's going to get you depressed. So then I get up, I show up, just showing up. Don't feel like, okay, if I show up, I'm still, just show up, be there. And then it's like, it's a change of environment and you doing something else, you know? And eventually, consistency, discipline, there's no way you can see a transformation.
That leads me to my next question. What advice would you give parents who want to raise their kids, you know, to have a more open-minded mindset, and they can be more open to change, and, you know, I'm having a hard time asking this question. So what I'm trying to ask is, what advice would you have to parents who don't know how to guide their children in terms of mental wellness? You know, how to protect them from that?
So before answering that question, there's sometimes you find there's parents who are also, a lot of those parents are also dealing with that same issue. So it goes back with, you know, you said seek for support, seek for help. And then is that self-development for yourself? Because it goes back to what I said. Taking care of self sounds selfish, but it leads you to other things to take care of your children. I feel like I cannot be a mom that I am today if I was not taking care of myself. If I don't take that 30 minutes, 1 hour to go exercise, or that 10, 15 minutes for me to reflect on the things that I was doing wrong, or maybe I spoke to my child wrong, or maybe I screamed at her, maybe I said something that in the long run can affect how she think about herself. So then I go back and I correct it. So we need to think about of culture. Culture could be positive, could be negative. Bringing up certain culture, what we do, like we've seen, okay, we've been doing this thing for years, and we have issues. Why should we raise our children with the same issues? Right?
Exactly. Talking about, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but that brings me to the point of culture being affecting me, because we don't believe in therapy. We don't believe in paying somebody just to talk about my problems. We handle them. That's it. You'll figure it out. You'll find a way to fix it. But we need to break that, you know, because that's the way that culture can affect you negatively. Seeking a therapy and therapist is very helpful. It's a way to really find your way out of that dark hole. So,
and sometimes, you know, what I find funny, like as a counselor, when I would go, people want you to come with the answer. It's like, help me to fix this. But the first step is just you knowing there's a problem. When you know there's a problem, you already know the answer to yourself. Sometimes you just need somebody to talk to. You need somebody that when you talk to them, they're not judging you. They're not thinking about, oh, but you know who you are, like you did this. You know, they're just listening to you, and then they're going to give you the tools, which I'm a tool, you a tool, right? So you have the tools, like the training, we're talking about training, right? as a person who training you and also a counselor, I know that a lot of times I could just by talking to someone I can observe and see the trauma behind certain things, the way they speak about themselves. It's funny that how like now when I'm around certain people, when there's certain trauma, like especially sexual, I see it. It's like as soon the conversation start arriving, I'm like, there's something more. But you don't have to tell me. So then now it's like I'm working with you on changing them entirely, because you're not your trauma. You can overcome that. You're not gonna forget it, but you can make yourself become a better person. Maybe you can be somebody that can help someone else, not becoming victim. So instead of sitting there as a victim, sitting back as a victim, arrive, be the warrior, teach somebody else. Maybe you can save someone else. Maybe you can protect someone else. You can teach them so they can prevent their children from being in that environment, or being in that place where they get an abuse.
And that loops around to the power of sharing your leadership positions. Not paying attention and being so focused on the sex difference, and you being a guy and I'm a woman and all this, or whatever it is. You can be gay and I'm lesbian, or whatever you identify with. We need to break that. Your identity shouldn't affect me, because you are who you are and I am who I am. So the power of sharing and giving a hand is very important. So thank you so much for coming and sharing so much wisdom. And again, is there anything you would like to say to the audience? How can they contact you?
Well, you can. I'm working at Luna Fitness Club. If anybody is interested in getting any training or providing any support, you can contact me at 617-602-6177. I am available for trainings, and I have new things that I'm thinking and working on to bring out. I would love to share my gifts with others, and help them feel as good as I feel, or maybe better.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Leila.
Thank
Give
you.
me a hug. This was great. It's a pleasure to have you.
Yeah.
We have come to the end of this episode, but please stay tuned for the next one. And thank you. I hope you enjoyed it. And any feedback you have, please leave it down below in the comments. Thank you so much.